At some point in your life, you've had a friend who felt completely off. You couldn't explain it. So on paper, everything looked fine. They texted back, they showed up, and they said the right things. But something underneath never felt right. You felt slightly worse about yourself after spending time with them. Your wins felt awkward around them. And when something went wrong in your life, their comfort felt just a little too comfortable. That feeling that you couldn't name, it had a name. It just took you too long to learn it. Fake friends are not strangers. They're not people that you distrust from the start. They're people who got close enough to matter. And that's exactly what made them so damaging. Today, I'm going to show you 5 specific things fake friends do that real friends never do. Specific psychological grounded behaviors that reveal exactly who someone is. Before they get the chance to prove it the hard way, let's get into it. Here's what you need to understand before we get into the signs. Fake friends are not always consciously malicious. Some of them don't even realize what they're doing. But whether it's intentional or not, the pattern is always the same. The relationship is structured to serve them. Your emotions, your energy, your wins, your vulnerabilities, all of it flows in one direction, towards them. Psychologists call this a parasocial style friendship dynamic, where one person is emotionally feeding off the other without offering genuine reciprocity in return. And the reason these friendships survive so long is because fake friends are remarkably skilled at performing friendship. They know the lines, they know the gestures, they show up just enough to maintain access. The performance is convincing because it has to be. The moment it slips, the relationship loses its value to them. And once you understand that fake friendship is a performance, these 5 signs become impossible to unsee. They celebrate you loudly in public and silently undermine you in private. This is the most defining behavior of a fake friend, and the hardest to catch because of how contradictory it looks. In public, in group settings, on your social media posts, they're your biggest cheerleaders. That's my friend. She's amazing. He's so talented. The praise is loud, visible, and consistent. But privately, in one-on-one conversations with mutual friends, when you're not around, in the small comments that slip out, a completely different picture emerges. They add a but to every compliment. They share your personal information a little too freely. They introduce just enough doubt about you in other people's minds, subtly, deniably, so it can never be traced back directly to them. Psychologists call this social undermining, deliberately eroding someone's reputation, relationships, or self-confidence through indirect means. And research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that social undermining from someone you consider a close friend causes significantly more psychological damage that open conflict from an enemy could do. Precisely because you don't see it coming and you don't know who to be angry at. The reason fake friends do this is rooted in one emotion: competitive insecurity. Your success makes them feel smaller, but they can't afford to lose access to you because proximity to successful, likable people benefit them socially. So they manage the gap. They celebrate you enough to keep the friendship intact and quietly chip away at you, just enough to keep you from outgrowing them. How to spot it? Pay attention to how people respond to your good news in private versus in public. Does this energy match? Do you notice your other friends becoming slightly cooler towards you or spending time with this person? Does this friend know things about you that you never told them directly? Those are not coincidences. That is a pattern. The second sign: they're only available when they need something. This one sounds obvious, but fake friends are sophisticated enough that it never looks transactional on their surface. They don't call you and say, "I need a favor." They warm you up first. A few nice messages, a check-in, and suddenly they're more present, more attentive, funnier, warmer. And then once the emotional temperature is right, the ask arrives. It feels organic, it feels like friendship. That's the design. And when they don't need anything, they're a ghost. Replies slow down, plans fall through, the energy drops back to baseline. You're not a person to them in those moments. You're a resource on standby. And here's the psychological marker that separates this from someone who's just busy. It's how they reciprocate. Real friends need things from each other. That's normal. What's not normal is a consistent, one-directional pattern where your needs, your bad days, and your requests from support are met with silence. But their needs are always somehow urgent and always somehow your responsibility. Pay more attention to who reaches out when they have nothing to gain. That small detail tells you everything about the nature of that friendship. Sign number 3, your good news makes them feel extremely uncomfortable. Watch someone's first reaction, not their second, not what they say after they've had a moment to compose themselves, their very first unguarded reaction when you share good news. A real friend's face opens, their genuine, almost involuntary brightness. Because your win lands in their nervous system as something good. They feel it with you. A fake friend's first reaction is something else. A flicker of tension, eyes that don't quite smile along with their mouth, a beat too long before the congratulations come out. And then, this is the most reliable tell. They redirect. They pivot. They find a way to bring the conversation back to themselves. That's amazing. Just make sure you... or... oh wow, good for you, said in a tone that means the opposite. This is called malicious envy. And it's different from regular envy. Regular envy says, I wish I had that too. Malicious envy says, I don't want you to have it if I can't have it. And research consistently shows that malicious envy is the primary emotional engine underneath fake friendship. The relationship exists to monitor you, to stay close enough to track your progress and manage the threat your success poses to their self-image. Real friends feel your wins in their bones. If someone in your life consistently seems slightly deflated by your good news, trust that observation. Your nervous system is reading something your conscious mind is trying to be polite about. Sign number 4. They use your vulnerabilities against you later. You told them something in private, something real, maybe a fear, an insecurity, a mistake that you made, something from your past that you don't share with just anyone. At that point, they responded perfectly. They were warm, understanding, non-judgmental. It felt safe. It felt like intimacy. Then the friendship hits a rough patch, a disagreement, a moment where you challenge them or pull back, and suddenly that private thing that you shared reappears. Not always as a direct attack. Sometimes as a joke, sometimes as a concerned comment to a mutual friend, sometimes as a weapon in an argument, deployed with perfect precision because they exactly know where it would land. This is the most violating thing a fake friend can do. Real intimacy requires vulnerability. Fake friends collect that vulnerability the way a chess player collects strategic information. They're not building closeness with what you share. They're building leverage. A real friend holds what you tell them in confidence, permanently, unconditionally, and especially during a conflict. They protect your private information most fiercely in the moments when using it would benefit them. That restraint is what trust is actually made of. If someone has ever made you feel unsafe about what you told them in the past, that is not a friendship worth protecting. The last sign, they compete instead of connect. Every story you tell, they have a bigger one. Every problem you share, they have a worse one. Every achievement that you mention, they find a way to match it or eclipse it. It feels exhausting. Conversations leave you feeling oddly empty, like you showed up for a connection and somehow ended up in a competition that you never agreed to enter. This is because fake friends relate to you through comparison, not empathy. Real connection requires someone to set themselves aside temporarily and fully enter your experience. Fake friends can't do that because your experience only matters to them as a mirror they can measure themselves against. This competition is rarely loud or obvious. It's subtle. It hides inside normal conversations. But after years of this dynamic, the cumulative effect is devastating. You start self-editing around them. You downplay your wins to avoid the response. You stop sharing your real feelings because the conversation always ends up somewhere else. You shrink yourself to keep the peace, and you call it friendship? This is not friendship. Real friendship expands you. It makes you feel more like yourself, certainly not less. If a relationship consistently makes you feel like you need to be smaller to be accepted, you already know what it is. I mean, the list could just go on, but these are the main 5 things that fake friends do that real friends would never do. They celebrate you publicly and undermine you privately. They show up only when they need something. Your good news makes them feel uncomfortable. They use your vulnerabilities as ammunition. And they compete with you instead of connecting with you. Here's the important thing that I want to leave you with today. Ending or distancing from a fake friendship is not betrayal. It is not being cold or paranoid or difficult. It is the most basic form of self-respect. You're not obligated to maintain access to someone whose presence consistently makes you feel smaller. Real friends exist. They're out there, but you won't find them while your emotional energy is tied up managing people who are never really in your corner. Like this video if it made you think of someone. Do subscribe if you want more such content. This is The Shift, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.